Hi, John with Your Car and Diecast. Hey, I'm going to do a little quickie video because there were some questions and concerns, I think, in regard to my post that there's some rust, some zinc metal rust that's starting on my GMP Roadrunner. And if we pan the camera this way, you'll see those spots right there where the light breaks into the rear quarter. I'm going to zoom down and in, and you can see them again a little clearer. This is definitely diecast cancer and not just a dust particle that is there. If we flip the vehicle over, we can look at the roof of the vehicle and we can see that is actually dust that's in the finish, and you can see it right here. So that's dust in the finish that I should be able to sand out of there. Same thing with this little spot right there at the edge of my shadow of my finger. So those are the things that you can remove. There's some things that cannot be removed. If we look at the other side, right here, you'll see some up in this area that's probably removable with some sandpaper and some rubbing compound. The problem though is on this side we get into this right here, and that is not dust. That is down underneath the paint finish, and it does extend down into here. This is a glob of paint. That's not a problem. That's nothing. But and then up here I also had a, let's get it to focus. Right up here is a glob of dust also. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to take the car apart, do some sanding, and show you what I mean. Hey, you know, the sad part about this, I was just thinking, is I bought this diecast car because back in 1979 I actually owned a 70 383 4-speed black interior in violet 70 Roadrunner. And this is the identical car, outside of the fact that I did have purple dog dish wheels, which is why this one had the blue dog dishes on it, because I was going to paint those. I was also going to do an engine swap. And of course an interior color change from the white that this had in it to black. Was going to turn it into a 4-speed car. Was basically going to make a replica of mine. But at this point, because of this cancer, and I do believe that it is cancer and it's not just dust and dirt, I'm going to have to repaint the whole vehicle anyhow. So at this point, I'm going to sand this along with the other spots that I have on here, which are in the roof and on this quarter panel. And we'll see if I can sand these and polish them out without going through the paint and damaging it. I don't think that's going to be the case, especially this glob that's here. I don't think it'll be the case, and we will see what will happen. But my intent was, because of this, I'm going to end up having to repaint this anyhow. Not 100% sure if I'm going to repaint it purple again or not. Maybe I'll pick a different color. I am going to replicate this stripe though, and the way I do that is I normally just take a picture of the stripe on the car. I blow it up in a Photoshop program, clean it up, and then do some test prints to scale it so that I can put it on there as a decal. In this case, it would be a water slide decal. I would actually do this on a white background so that when you lay it on the dark color car, it doesn't blend into the color of the car. You will still be able to see it correctly. Then once the diecast car is clear coated, that's sealed in, and we're good to go. Also get the little pen star from Mopar down here. And again, using my phone doesn't let me zoom in like I would like to. So at this point, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut this off, do a little sanding, and see what we can do with this over here, and see if we can make it look better. And I don't think we can. I'm back after doing some sanding, and these are the results. And it's pretty clear to see that there's definitely an issue with diecast cancer here. If you recall, there was some markings down here, and that sanded out smooth. Because remember, if you have dust and dirt, if the dust is in the clear, sanding over the top of the clear will remove it. If the dust is in the color, then if you remove the clear and go down to the color, you should still be able to sand it without exposing the bare metal underneath. As you can see, the bare metal is exposed. Because the die-cast metal started to deteriorate, it started to push itself up. Now there are some other little spots on this vehicle, in here and up in here. There's some spots up in here too, but I wanted to do this to show you. So that could not be sanded out, and I used, in this case, I used some, this is 600. A little more aggressive than what I would normally use, but I did so because of the fact that I'm going to repaint this die-cast car. You remember the big dust glob? I said that this was dust. It's gone. There is no metal exposed. I can polish this out and it should turn out fine. Remember we saw some up here on the roof line? Gone. This is just sanded, and that will polish out. It really will. It might not look like it, but it will. Again, on this side, we had some up here that polished out, or sanded, and will be able to be polished out. But here, that big glob that I thought was probably die-cast cancer, again was. That is the metal that you see exposed underneath there. Everything else is smooth around it. I didn't sand anything harder than anything else to change anything. It was all sanded basically the same way. I love GMP cars. I love the 70 Roadrunners and GTXs. This is not anything to do with GMP. If you know anything about Ertl cars, you know that some of the early Ertl cars have this zinc alloy problem. There's a technical name for it. I don't recall what it is right now. That causes the metal to actually just crumble. And there are people that have Camaros and Buicks and some of the early Ertl cars that the doors just fall off or the body just cracks in two. That is the extreme end of this. This isn't so much, in my opinion, the extreme end, but it's there. And if I was to repaint this car, and I didn't want to, remember, but if I was to repaint this car, I'd have to make this all go away, and then I would have to protect the metal as best I could. I don't know if I could guarantee this paint job to last like some of the ones that I've done, because of the fact that it's possible that even using some kind of an etching primer that would hopefully stop it from going any further, it might still go further. Bottom line is that this is where we're at. I might just polish this out just to show you that the finish can come back to life even after extreme sanding, and then show you again what it looks like. But at this point, I did want to show that definitely die-cast cancer. Look at your cars, and it's kind of hard to tell if it's dust or if it's rust. This to me is rust or cancer. I knew that this wasn't up here. I knew that this wasn't here, and I knew that this wasn't up here in the front fender. Now, mind you, 20 years worth of body and paint experience, maybe that helped me a little bit. But bottom line is that this is where we're at. John with Your Car and Diecast, back to show you the good and the bad of what I just tried to accomplish here. And the good is, well, look, it's nice and shiny. And if you really look at it, you can see there's a thin line, which is kind of where I stop sanding and where it blends into the non-sanded part. But if I hold the car at an angle here, you can see the clarity of the light overhead. You can see the orange peel that's in the right side of the picture of the roof, and you can see how smooth everything is on the left side. And with saying that, you can also see where I sanded through the clear and exposed the color underneath. So now you see, this is where the damage was, where the little dust particles were, where I polished it out. And I used 600, I used 600, I used 800, 1000, 15, and then 3000. So the actual finish, very nice, very smooth. Again, no orange peel like this side, and you can see that as you compare the light. Look at the light, and you can see the right side of the light is definitely orange peely and the left side is smooth. But it did go through the clear. So that's one of those cases where you have to be very careful when you're doing this if you were planning on keeping the car without having to repaint it. Knowing that I'm going to repaint this car, it doesn't really matter to me, but this shows you the damage that can happen when you're trying to correct something as minor as just dust particles. Although, on the other end of that is this. That big chunky piece of dust that was in here is gone. And if I can get this to focus, that's gone. And we have a beautiful finish. and that's nice and smooth as glass. You can see the metallics in there. It's beautiful. There's no dust, nothing left in that clear. It's absolutely perfect. So this is, of course, the ideal situation. This, of course, is not. Don't we wish all our die-cast cars had that nice smooth finish on them? Probably like a CMC. And beautiful, beautiful finish. But the bottom line is, I'm not going to go ahead and do anything else with these because there's no reason to. I have removed the Tampo Roadrunner on the side to save that. I will make copies or take pictures of the dust trail so that I can replicate those. Other than that, I will continue to tear this down at some point here, probably not today, probably next week, and then decide what I'm going to do with it. If you guys want to chime in with what you think I should do with it, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. Maybe I will just repaint it purple again and repaint it in violet and do the interior in black and make my old car. I don't know. But that's it from John and Your Car and Diecast. So this shows you die-cast cancer. When you sand on it, becomes exposed metal. Dust, when you sand on it, can be polished out and leave you a perfect finish. Dust, when you sand on it too much, and this I don't think was really the sanding, it was more probably the polishing, can cause you to go through the color, discoloring the image, discoloring it and bringing the color up from underneath and through the clear. And there's another speck of, see if that'll adjust, and it does. That's a trick I just learned. But that's die-cast cancer, and we'll make it go away for the future of this car. That's it from Your Car and Diecast. Thank you.